Welcome to Demol Consult Career Academy, your trusted guide for job interview preparation and career success. In today's video, we'll be discussing the top 20 NHS peer support worker interview questions and answers. If you're preparing for a peer support worker interview within the NHS, this video is packed with real-life questions to help you stand out and impress the hiring panel. From understanding the role to handling challenging scenarios, we'll cover everything you need to know. So, grab a notebook and let's dive right in. 1. Can you tell us about your understanding of the peer support worker role? The role of a peer support worker is centered on using lived experience to provide emotional and practical support to individuals facing similar challenges. It's about building authentic, empathetic relationships based on mutual understanding, respect, and trust. A peer support worker offers hope and encouragement by sharing their recovery journey and demonstrating that progress is possible. This role goes beyond simply supporting individuals. It involves listening actively, helping them navigate services, and empowering them to develop coping strategies and build resilience. It's about fostering a sense of community and inclusion while respecting the individuality and unique experiences of each person. In the context of the NHS, the role also involves working collaboratively within a multidisciplinary team, ensuring that the voice of the patient is heard and that support is person-centered. It's about bridging the gap between patients and professionals, making healthcare more accessible and relatable. Ultimately, it's a role that balances compassion with professionalism to make a meaningful difference in the lives of others. 2. How does your lived experience qualify you for this role? My lived experience uniquely qualifies me for this role as a peer support worker because it allows me to connect with others on a deeper, more empathetic level. I have first-hand experience navigating the challenges associated with mental health, recovery, and accessing support systems, which has given me a profound understanding of the journey others may be on. Through my own recovery process, I've gained insight into the importance of having someone who truly understands what it's like to walk in your shoes. This understanding enables me to offer not just guidance, but genuine hope and encouragement. Additionally, my lived experience has taught me resilience, patience, and the value of listening without judgment. I've learned how to foster trust and build meaningful relationships, skills that are essential in creating a safe and supportive environment for others. Overall, my personal journey equips me to be a relatable and compassionate advocate for those I support, aligning perfectly with the core values of the NHS and the peer support role. 3. What steps would you take to build trust with a service user? Building trust with a service user is essential in the role of a peer support worker, as it forms the foundation for a strong and supportive relationship. First, I would prioritize active listening to ensure the service user feels genuinely heard and valued. By maintaining eye contact, using open body language, and responding empathetically, I would demonstrate that I am fully present and invested in their concerns. Next, I would be honest and transparent in my communication. For instance, I would clearly outline what support I can offer, ensuring not to overpromise or create unrealistic expectations. Consistency in my actions would further reinforce this trust. If I say I will follow up or do something, I would make it a point to deliver on that promise. Additionally, I would respect their boundaries and maintain confidentiality, as long as it does not compromise their safety or the safety of others. Trust is built when individuals know that their personal information is handled with care and professionalism. Lastly, I would share parts of my own lived experiences, where appropriate, to create a sense of relatability and mutual understanding. By showing vulnerability and compassion, I aim to create a safe space where the service user feels comfortable sharing their feelings and challenges. This approach fosters a trusting and collaborative relationship, which is crucial in supporting their journey toward recovery or personal growth. 4. How do you maintain professional boundaries as a peer support worker? Maintaining professional boundaries as a peer support worker is crucial to fostering trust and creating a safe and supportive environment for both peers and yourself. I achieve this by clearly understanding the scope of my role and adhering to the professional guidelines provided by the NHS. While I draw on my lived experience to connect with and support others, I remain mindful that the focus is always on the peer's needs and recovery journey, not my own story. I ensure that relationships remain professional by setting clear expectations from the start, respecting confidentiality, and avoiding dual relationships or overly personal interactions that could blur boundaries. For example, I keep communication within professional channels, such as scheduled meetings or workplace platforms, rather than personal social media or informal gatherings. Additionally, I am vigilant about self-awareness and reflective practice. If I notice that I am becoming too emotionally involved or stepping beyond my professional limits, I seek supervision or guidance from my line manager to realign with my role. This helps me stay effective and ensures the support I provide remains impartial, ethical, and beneficial for the peer's recovery. 5. Can you describe a time when you supported someone during a difficult period? Supporting someone during a difficult time is a core part of being a peer support worker, and I have had experiences that shaped my understanding of the importance of empathy and active listening. For example, during my previous role, I worked with a colleague who was struggling with anxiety due to a significant personal loss. They began to isolate themselves, which affected their ability to perform their duties and connect with others. I approached them gently, expressing my willingness to listen if they wanted to share. After some time, they opened up about their struggles, and I validated their feelings without judgment. I shared some of my own experiences with managing stress and loss, not to shift the focus, but to demonstrate that they were not alone in what they were feeling. Together, we identified small, manageable steps they could take to regain a sense of control, such as seeking professional counseling, establishing a daily routine, and joining a support group. I followed up regularly to check on their progress and encourage them to keep moving forward at their own pace. Over time, I saw them grow more confident and resilient. That experience reinforced my belief in the power of peer support to create meaningful change, and it taught me the importance of patience, active listening, and offering practical, person-centered support. 6. How would you support someone who is feeling reluctant to engage with services? Supporting someone who is reluctant to engage with services requires empathy, patience, and a person-centered approach. First, I would focus on building a trusting relationship with the individual by creating a safe and non-judgmental environment where they feel heard and respected. I would actively listen to their concerns to understand the reasons behind their reluctance, whether it's fear, past negative experiences, or lack of understanding about the services. Next, I would provide clear and accessible information about the available support, addressing any misconceptions or fears they may have. I would share my own lived experience, if appropriate, to show empathy and help them see that engaging with services can lead to positive outcomes. Encouraging small, manageable steps can also help reduce feelings of being overwhelmed. It's important to involve the individual in decision-making, empowering them to feel more in control of the process. If necessary, I would collaborate with other professionals or advocates to provide tailored support that meets their unique needs. Ultimately, my goal would be to support them at their own pace, respecting their autonomy while gently guiding them toward accessing the help they need. 7. How would you handle a situation where a service user becomes distressed or upset? Handling a situation where a service user becomes distressed or upset requires a compassionate and calm approach. If I encountered such a situation, my first step would be to remain calm myself, as my demeanor can influence the service user's emotional state. I would acknowledge their feelings letting them know that it's okay to feel upset and that I'm there to support them. For instance, I might say something like, "I can see this is really upsetting for you, and I'm here to help." Next, I would listen actively to understand the cause of their distress. Sometimes, just being heard can significantly ease someone's emotions. While listening, I'd ensure that my body language conveys openness and empathy, maintaining eye contact and nodding to show I'm fully engaged. If they're comfortable, I'd encourage them to talk about what's troubling them, asking gentle, open-ended questions to better understand their needs. Based on what they share, I would work with them to identify a way forward. This might involve suggesting strategies to calm down, such as deep breathing or taking a moment to step away from the source of their distress. If appropriate, I might share my own experiences in a similar situation to show them they are not alone and that things can get better. Finally, if the situation requires further intervention, I would follow the necessary protocols, such as alerting a senior colleague or contacting the appropriate support services. Throughout, my focus would remain on maintaining their dignity, showing empathy, and ensuring they feel supported and safe. 8. Why do you think peer support is effective in mental health recovery? Peer support is incredibly effective in mental health recovery because it offers a unique and empathetic perspective that traditional clinical support often cannot provide. Peer support workers, who have lived through mental health challenges themselves, can relate to the experiences of service users in a way that others may not. This shared experience helps build trust and a sense of connection, which is crucial for someone who may feel isolated or misunderstood in their journey to recovery. Peer support workers can offer hope, reassurance, and practical advice based on their own recovery, which can be empowering for individuals in treatment. This shared experience fosters a sense of belonging and normalizes the challenges faced in recovery, making it easier for people to open up about their struggles without feeling judged. Additionally, peer support encourages individuals to take an active role in their own recovery as they see firsthand that recovery is possible. By relating to someone who has successfully managed their mental health challenges, individuals feel inspired and motivated to take steps toward improving their own well-being. Peer support also provides a more holistic and person-centered approach to mental health care, one that acknowledges the value of lived experience alongside professional care. This approach helps to bridge the gap between clinical treatment and real-world challenges, making it a powerful tool in mental health recovery. 9. How do you ensure your lived experience does not overshadow the service user's needs? When answering the question, how do you ensure your lived experience does not overshadow the service user's needs? It's important to reflect on how you balance your personal experience with the professional role you have as a peer support worker. Here is an example answer. In my role as a peer support worker, I always prioritize the service user's needs above all else. While I do bring my own lived experience to the table, I understand that each person's journey and challenges are unique. I ensure that my personal experiences don't overshadow their needs by actively listening and focusing on what the service user is expressing. I approach each situation with empathy, but also maintain a sense of professionalism, being careful not to impose my personal story unless it is appropriate and helpful for the individual situation. I believe it is crucial to empower service users by offering them support based on their own preferences, strengths, and goals, rather than focusing on my past experiences. I make sure that I ask open-ended questions and provide a safe space for them to share their thoughts without pushing my own narrative. Additionally, I always stay mindful of the boundaries in my role, ensuring that I do not cross into therapy or advice giving unless it's part of my official responsibilities and training. My lived experience is a tool to build rapport and trust, but I am fully aware that my role is to support and guide the individual in their own process, not to overshadow their journey. By staying present, patient, and focused on their needs, I can help them navigate their challenges in a way that is both respectful and empowering. 10. What would you do if a service user disclosed thoughts of self-harm? If a service user disclosed thoughts of self-harm to me, the first thing I would do is to ensure that they feel heard and understood. It's important to approach the situation with empathy, providing a safe and non-judgmental space for them to express their feelings. I would listen actively, without interruption, making sure to acknowledge their emotions and the pain they may be going through. Once I've ensured that they feel supported, I would gently encourage them to seek professional help, such as speaking with a mental health professional, a counselor, or their GP. I would explain the importance of reaching out for specialized support, while reassuring them that they are not alone. I would also inform them that, in line with safeguarding procedures, I am required to share this information with the relevant healthcare professionals to ensure they receive the appropriate care and support. My role as a peer support worker involves offering emotional support, but I also understand that when it comes to self-harm, it's critical to involve the right professionals to provide the best possible care. I would remain supportive throughout the process, checking in with the service user and offering ongoing reassurance as needed, while respecting their dignity and confidentiality. My priority would always be the safety and well-being of the individual. 11. How do you take care of your own mental health while supporting others? As a peer support worker, taking care of my own mental health is just as important as supporting others. I understand that the nature of this role can sometimes be emotionally demanding, so I ensure I have a solid self-care routine in place. One of the ways I maintain my well-being is by setting clear boundaries. I make sure that I'm aware of my limits and take regular breaks when needed. I also practice mindfulness and meditation, which helps me stay grounded and manage stress effectively. Regular physical exercise, whether it's a walk, yoga, or any form of activity I enjoy, is another essential part of my routine. This helps release tension and gives me the energy to be present and focused when supporting others. Additionally, I make it a point to talk to someone I trust if I'm feeling overwhelmed. Whether it's a colleague, a friend, or a professional, having a support network is vital. Finally, I prioritize hobbies and activities that bring me joy and relaxation, such as reading, spending time with family, or enjoying nature. By taking these steps to care for my mental health, I can be more effective and empathetic when supporting others through their challenges. 12. How would you handle a situation where a service user challenges your advice? If a service user challenges my advice, I would first take a moment to remain calm and patient. I understand that, as a peer support worker, my role is not to impose my views, but to provide guidance and support. I would listen to their concerns and acknowledge their feelings, making sure they feel heard and respected. I would then explain the reasoning behind my advice, offering clear, empathetic responses that help them understand where I'm coming from. However, if the service user still disagrees, I would respect their decision and remind them that ultimately, it's their choice and their journey. I would also reassure them that I'm there to support them no matter what decision they make. I would encourage open communication and, if needed, offer to discuss the matter further with them at another time. I believe it's important to maintain trust and a non-judgmental approach, so I would ensure that they feel empowered and supported, regardless of whether they follow my advice. 13. What strategies would you use to promote independence in service users? When promoting independence in service users, I would first focus on building a trusting and supportive relationship with them. Understanding their individual needs, preferences, and goals is essential in creating a personalized approach. I would encourage service users to make decisions for themselves, no matter how small, to help them feel empowered and in control of their own lives. This could include involving them in planning their care or daily routines and supporting them in setting achievable goals. Another important strategy is providing education and information. ensuring they understand the resources and support available to them. I would guide them in developing the skills necessary to manage their health, well-being, or daily tasks independently, while offering support and encouragement when needed. It's also vital to recognize and celebrate their achievements, no matter how small, to build their confidence and sense of accomplishment. Ultimately, the goal is to empower service users to become as independent as possible, ensuring they feel capable and supported throughout the process, without doing things for them that they can manage themselves. I believe that fostering an environment of respect and autonomy is key to promoting their independence effectively. 14. How would you contribute to a multidisciplinary team as a peer support worker? As a peer support worker, I believe my personal experience, empathy, and strong communication skills would be key contributions to a multidisciplinary team. I understand firsthand the challenges that individuals face, and this allows me to offer support in a way that resonates with those I work with. I would actively listen to colleagues, share insights from my own journey where relevant, and offer practical suggestions based on my lived experience. In a multidisciplinary team, it's essential to work collaboratively and in confidence, that my ability to connect with people from diverse backgrounds would be an asset. I would contribute by being an advocate for the voices of those receiving care, ensuring their concerns and preferences are heard and addressed within the team. My role would not only involve offering emotional and practical support to service users, but also facilitating positive communication between professionals, ensuring everyone's input is considered in the development of care plans. Ultimately, my aim would be to foster an environment of trust and respect within the team, where each member, whether clinical or non-clinical, feels valued and heard. By promoting shared understanding and a holistic approach to care, I am confident that I can help ensure the success of the multidisciplinary team in achieving the best outcomes for service users. 15. What do you think are the key challenges of this role, and how would you address them? The role of a peer support worker in the NHS can be incredibly rewarding, but it also comes with its challenges. One of the key challenges I anticipate is maintaining professional boundaries while providing emotional support. Peer support workers often share lived experiences with the individuals they support, and this can sometimes blur the lines between personal and professional roles. To address this, I would focus on clear communication and supervision, ensuring that I maintain boundaries while still offering empathetic and compassionate support. Another challenge might be managing my own emotional well-being while supporting others, especially when dealing with individuals facing difficult circumstances. To overcome this, I would rely on regular debriefing sessions with my team and access to mental health support when necessary. Lastly, navigating the diverse needs of individuals from different backgrounds can be a challenge. To address this, I would ensure that I continuously develop my cultural competence and stay informed about the resources and services available to support people from various communities. By being proactive, seeking support when needed, and maintaining a strong focus on boundaries, I would ensure that I provide the best possible care while taking care of my own well-being. 16. How would you handle confidentiality if a service user shares sensitive information? If a service user shares sensitive information with me, I would handle confidentiality with the utmost respect and professionalism. First, I would reassure the service user that their information is safe and that I am there to listen and support them. I would emphasize that their privacy is important and that, as a peer support worker, I am bound by strict confidentiality guidelines. However, I would also explain the limitations of confidentiality in clear terms, letting them know that there are certain situations where I may need to share information with the appropriate professionals or authorities. For example, if there is a risk of harm to the individual or others, or if it is required by law, I would have to break confidentiality, but I would always ensure that the individual understands the process, and I would involve them in discussions about how their information is being shared whenever possible. In situations where I am unsure, I would seek guidance from my supervisor or relevant professionals to make sure I am handling the situation in the best way possible. My goal is always to balance confidentiality with ensuring the safety and well-being of the service user. 17. Can you describe a situation where you had to adapt your communication style to suit someone's needs? In my previous role as a support worker, I encountered a situation where I was helping a client who had a hearing impairment. They were struggling to communicate effectively, especially during a time when their anxiety was high. I realized that my usual communication style wasn't going to be effective in this situation, so I adapted by using a more visual approach. I started to write down key points and instructions on a notepad to ensure they understood everything clearly. Additionally, I used simple hand gestures and facial expressions to support the verbal communication. I also made sure to speak slowly and clearly, ensuring they could lip read. By adapting my communication style to their needs, I helped them feel more comfortable and supported during the session. It was a great reminder of the importance of being flexible and sensitive to each individual's unique needs. It reinforced the idea that communication isn't just about speaking, but about actively listening and adjusting your approach to make sure the person is receiving the information in the best way possible. 18. How would you approach supporting someone from a different cultural or social background? When supporting someone from a different cultural or social background, I believe the key is to approach the situation with empathy, respect, and an open mind. First and foremost, it's important to recognize that everyone has unique experiences and values shaped by their cultural or social context. I would take the time to understand the individual's background and perspective without making assumptions. I would approach them with sensitivity, actively listen to their needs, and ask questions to ensure I fully understand their situation. This helps build trust and shows respect for their identity. Additionally, I would ensure that my support is culturally appropriate by being aware of any customs, beliefs, or practices that might influence the person's preferences for care or communication. If there are any barriers, such as language or unfamiliarity with services, I would seek assistance from interpreters or cultural support services. My goal would always be to create an environment where the individual feels safe, valued, and empowered to make decisions about their care. Ultimately, my approach would be centered on providing person-centered care that respects and honors their cultural and social background, ensuring they feel supported without judgment. 19. What role do peer support workers play in reducing stigma around mental health? Peer support workers play a vital role in reducing the stigma around mental health by offering lived experience and empathy to individuals who are facing similar challenges. When someone with personal experience of mental health struggles shares their journey, it helps break down the misconceptions and stereotypes that often surround mental health. Peer support workers create a safe and non-judgmental space where people can talk openly about their struggles without fear of being stigmatized. They help normalize conversations about mental health, making it easier for individuals to seek help and access support. By demonstrating that recovery is possible, peer support workers inspire hope and resilience, showing others that they are not alone in their experiences. Their presence in healthcare settings fosters a culture of understanding, acceptance, and inclusion, ultimately challenging societal views that contribute to the stigma surrounding mental health. Through their work, peer support workers help change the narrative, promoting mental health awareness and creating an environment where seeking help is seen as a strength, not a weakness. 20. How would you respond if a service user expressed dissatisfaction with the support provided? If a service user expressed dissatisfaction with the support provided, my first response would be to listen carefully to their concerns. It's important to make sure they feel heard and understood, so I would give them space to express their feelings without interruption. I would acknowledge their emotions and validate their experience, showing empathy and understanding. Once I have a clear understanding of their dissatisfaction, I would ask open-ended questions to ensure I fully comprehend the specific issue and how it has impacted them. I would remain calm and professional throughout the conversation, focusing on finding a resolution. My approach would be to explore what could be done to address their concerns and improve the situation, whether it's adjusting the support plan or providing additional resources. If I cannot resolve the issue immediately, I would reassure the service user that I will work with the team to find a solution and keep them informed of the steps we're taking. It's crucial to follow through on any promises made and ensure that the service user feels supported and valued, knowing that their feedback is taken seriously. My goal would always be to restore trust and ensure that the service users' needs are met effectively. Do you have any question for us? Yes. Thank you for the opportunity. I do have a few questions. Firstly, I would love to know more about the team we'll be working with. Does the typical support structure look like for a peer support worker within the NHS? And how does the team collaborate to ensure the best outcomes for patients? Additionally, I'm interested in understanding how success is measured in this role. Are there specific performance metrics or goals that I should be aware of? And how does the NHS support peer support workers in achieving them? Lastly, I would appreciate any insight into the opportunities for personal and professional development within the organisation. How does the NHS encourage growth and further training for someone in a peer support worker position? Thank you for watching this video on the top 20 NHS peer support worker interview questions and answers. We hope these real-life questions give you the confidence to excel in your interview. Remember, preparation is the key to success, and practicing these questions will set you apart as a strong candidate. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Demol Consult Career Academy for more interview tips and career guidance. Good luck with your interview, and we'll see you in the next video.